Right, so today we're going to be uh beginning over here, where as you can see, these guys are going to take the liberty of claiming a giant piece out of these guys. Well, these guys are going to take the liberty of claiming the rest of this giant piece, and the Japanese are going to take the liberty of demanding this thing stays as it is. Both of these ideas are going to completely destabilize the entire situation over here. All of these ideas are actually. And so the idea is put on hold. However, not the invasion of this place by Saigon, who, if you remember, with blue team help, is now pretty much like secured to win every conflict here just because of the blue team's so much better training mechanics and stuff. And quickly Saigon is gonna go and they're gonna invade. And they're gonna capture a lot of things. Oh my god, I swear I need to turn the tolerance down so much. Tolerance is at 5%. It better only color the parts I want. Yeah, okay. Now Shanghai isn't just gonna let this slide. They also want a lot of this land. However, when they invade, it's going to be a completely different story because these guys are actually a pretty good military. They can defend against a lot of these attacks just because of the terrain and also their like mechanics. So Saigon's actually going to get completely pushed back, and with Japanese help, these guys are going to invade and capture a giant region in Saigon. I mean, in Shanghai. That's not good. Tokyo, not Japan, Tokyo. But they're also they remember they have Taiwan, so they're just resupplying this all the time. Meanwhile, Saigon is going to continue to spread its wings and it's eventually going to destroy a pretty large chunk of land. And this is not looking good, is it? The capital is also going to get overran completely, which is going to destroy the support that the Japanese were giving, which is furthermore going to destroy troop morale. Yeah, we're beginning this video with a bang, aren't we? These guys are going to realize that our only way of continuing to do this is going to be touching the coast, so they're going to start sending small amounts of troops. They're eventually going to touch the coastline and also cut this entire region off, which is going to lead to its complete collapse. Shanghai, meanwhile, is starting to get a little bit scared because now both these regions, which were ethnically pretty high in these guys, we're gonna call this South Shanghai. South Shanghai. They're pretty South Shanghainese. I don't. Okay. Anyway, so the Japanese are actually going to take advantage, or the tokens. Tokens Japanese, same thing in this series because I keep confusing those two. They're gonna actually make a landing right near the capital of Shanghai, and they're going to quickly start spreading round and around. And well, that's not good. That's not good. Chat, that's not good. Yeah, Shanghai is completely cut off. The capital of Shanghai is cut off from the rest. Meanwhile, an invasion is also going to be launched from here. That's going to capture the coastline. However, that's going to be repelled almost instantly, including and then followed by repelling of the Shanghai invasion, which is again going to be followed by Shanghai invading this insanely militarized zone that that the tokens had. And yeah, Shanghai is going to take it. Shanghai is going to take that very easily. Real question is what happens over here? And that is answered by the blue team, who's going to quickly start beginning to drop off some troops who are going to, with their insanely overpowered weapons, compared to, these guys, take the southern half of the island and make Japan try to begin peace talks. They're also just going to straight up like cut it half, just like that. And peace talks are going to begin, and these guys know that they're going to have to follow the peace talks. So they're going to launch a pretty big invasion to try and get as much land out of Shanghai to build their new country because half of it is now gone. Right just before the war is over. And that is going to include some things out here as well. And with this, Shanghai is going to realize that we're not getting any of this land back. May as well not lose more land. And so, peace treaty. That's it's always good when there's a peace treaty. It's always also really really bad for some reason because everything goes and becomes so much worse right after these people. It's almost like these people don't know how to make a peace treaty. Anyway, so the blue team, first things first. This island is getting chopped up in half. And the blue team is fighting on behalf of Saigon, so this is actually Saigon's land. Gotta remember that. Shanghai, obviously they're gonna take back this little thing. So Japan is gonna lose their two of their ports. Over here, I think this is a blue team victory, if I'm being honest. They're probably the ones that have gotten the most out of this. Um, and they're gonna get all of that. That looks horrible. That actually looks horrible. That actually looks horrible. We're gonna go like this, and then like this, and then like this. That looks better. So yeah, these guys are gonna capture all of that land, and yeah. Now, right before we make the rest of this peace treaty, I just want to tell you guys something. Almost immediately after this peace treaty actually becoming a thing, this is the land that was promised, and this is the land that is actually going to be given over to the South Shanghai, because of one very important thing, and that is Shanghai basically just paying a bunch of rebellions to break out. That's going to destabilize these guys almost immediately after they form their like second iteration of the state. This war was supposed to be their new beginning, so they're off to a pretty bad beginning. And a lot of these rebellions, just to like kind of make the nation calm down, are going to get accepted right away, and that is going to lead to the loss of a lot of territories, such as this territory right here. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to say. And then these guys are obviously still going to go ahead and grab that. But before we do that, we need to place their new capital, which is going to be in this little panhandle type thing. Because that was a really important city to them. That's the reason that it's like a little panhandle into Shanghai's territory to give them that land. So yeah, that's their new capital. These guys are probably now the least populated state in the entirety of the East Asian storyline. Who actually knows probably these guys or these guys. These guys are barely states though, so realistically these guys are. But they are most definitely one of the the poorest, not richest. Richest is obviously probably right now. I'd say Saigon is on track to become the richest, just because of the amount of funding that they're getting from the blue team. But obviously not really. Also, this land, you should note that this land is not actually getting put into the outer Shanghai region like the other land. This land is going to be a direct part of Shanghai, who is also now going to now in their mission of uniting the Qing lands. The Qing lands are basically everything over here. All of this, basically, they're going to actually start trying to rework things. That is not going to go well, and let me tell you why that's not going to go well. Because almost immediately, the monarchy is finally going to be abolished in terms of a democratic new government, and quickly the rebellions are going to pop up. The monarchy knows that they cannot hold on to power, and the king does a little bit of a smart thing. He's like, you know what? We'll give you your democracy if you allow for peaceful transition. Guess who's against that? The prince. So the king does the right thing, but the prince does not. And as more and more regions begin falling, the king is actually assassinated by an unknown faction. Some say it's the rebels that did that, some say it's the prince. Either way, now in charge is the prince. And quickly, the prince is going to make the situation a lot worse, as a lot more regions are going to begin rebelling. And now it's a full-on civil war because the prince is going to be like, nope, we're going to keep the monarchy, actually. A lot of these rural regions outside who were promised a lot more like representation from democracy, they're the ones that are majorly also going to be rebelling. And almost immediately, Shanghai is going to be pushed back into its own borders, with the outside regions falling completely to the military, to an ex-military general who's leading the democratic effort. Now, very quickly, the actual like Shanghai region in our world, it's not the same as the one in this world, but that actual region is also going to fall, and it's just as important to these guys as it is in our world. So yeah, this is not gonna be a good look, basically. But however, the crackdown over here is going to initiate, and the counter invasion is going to be harsh, almost completely destroying the front line and killing a lot of the very good military generals of this region, and that's gonna hurt. That is going to hurt. The counter invasion is destructive, and is quickly going to begin pushing these guys back and backer into smaller and smaller regions. While to kind of like freeze the situation, he's also that this thing is also gonna fall completely alongside these guys who are just gonna surrender, because the head of that is one of the prince's old friends. Now this prince is gonna be known as the civil monarch, the democratic monarch, the military monarch, because he is also a military general before he became the new king. So yeah, the prince of Shanghai. Now, just to boost morale a little bit, he's gonna look to destroy the oldest and strongest rival of the Shanghai, and that is gonna be obviously Japan. I mean Tokyo. And so, in an effort to end the war start and end the war as fast as possible, he's gonna send two squadrons, one of his elite forces, leaving Shanghai without protection, into Japan to invade the mainland. I mean Tokyo to invade the main islands of Japan. In the other, and another full like really brutal campaign is going to be launched in here to recover this old territory that is also part of the claims for the Qing Empire. And quickly, the invasion is going to begin. Many regions are going to fall almost immediately, especially in here. Yeah, so these two regions, they're the big ones, almost immediately going to get destroyed. Completely now a part of Shanghai. While over here, the elite forces of the Shanghai Defense Squadron are going to make landing right here in Nagasaki, modern day Nagasaki, and they're quickly going to spread and take control of this entire thing. Now, the prince is actually going to leave and also come here to lead the war effort himself. While over here, he left one of his closest friends to protect the capital, which is not going well, as the Democratic Rebellion, the Democratic Rebellion is getting closer and closer. They're also this land, which was previously thought to not really be able to be conquered anymore, they're also going to lose that. So yeah, with that loss, people are getting mad. They're like, Prince, please get back here. We are literally going to die. Also, all of this, the support, the people, they all flee either here or here. The people who flee into Saigon, they have enough money to get back over here to continue fighting. Over here, Japan is quickly going to send reinforcements and kick these guys right back out, which is not a good look for the prince. That's not gonna go well. They're also going to make they're gonna freeze this line, but they're going to make a landing over here, which is eventually going to get retracted to make a new landing right here. And the thing about this landing is now it's a race to the capital of Shanghai, which we're gonna call Chinatown. Get like Chinatown, but Shanghai's the Chinatown. Actually, that's a horrible name. We're gonna call it Shanghai Land. The city of Shanghai. Yeah, city of Shanghai. And now it is a race to the city of Shanghai, and it's yeah, that's not gonna go well. Meanwhile, the prince, he is going to be like, yeah, we need to end this as quickly as possible. So he's gonna leave half his force over there, while the other half is gonna go around right here. Here, he's gonna begin another invasion, destroy another bunch of towns, and basically all to destroy this island as fast as possible. He's also gonna hear that these guys are facing trouble, so he's actually going to make a little bit of a very fast entrance, and he's going to get all the way over here. And now this entire island is split into two. He's also going to quickly capture this port city and begin another landing over here, where he's going to capture some more lands before eventually deciding to make a landing on the main island. This landing is probably going to be the deadliest. Now, while this landing is happening, this island is going to be completely taken over, and from here, another landing right here. But that one is going to be defeated, and he's going to get his pretty badly injured. But he's going to quickly go back, heal up here for like a week, and then launch a complete invasion over here to distract from Tokyo itself. The Tokian main island over here, huge like a blitzkrieg campaign basically is launched to get as much land as possible and cause as much destruction as possible, which is going to also see the end of the Nagasaki island, as it's also going to completely fall. And now it's looking like the prince may actually win this. However, his landing is going to falter. It's going to mostly be the strongest part of the landing is going to be here, and it's eventually going to be the only part left after the rest is pushed back. So now it's a question: who is going to get to the other's capital first? Are the tokens going to get to Shanghai first, or the Shanghai city first, or is the prince going to get to Tokyo city first? That is the question. Quickly, it's actually warned. The prince is warned that we can't really invade Shanghai completely, so we have to kind of cut it off from the rest. And a little bit of a squadron is going to land here, but then they're going to get orders to stop because siege is going to take way too long, and Tokyo has just met up over here with has just pushed over here, and it's looking like they might actually cut off water access, which is exactly what happens, but it's not by them, it is by the democratic militants. And now it's looking like the city might just completely get cut off from the rest of Shanghai. It's pretty bad until guess who's going to come to help? Obviously the blue team. They're going to quickly get over here, and they're going to start beating the democratic thing, rebellion thing, and with their help, these rebellious soldiers, I guess, who are just nationalists, they're saying that the prince should be replaced with his younger brother because his younger brother is more of a nationalist and not as stupid as him. So, in favor of his younger brother, push back, and also push back over here on the Japanese front. So this is going to obviously buy the prince some time, but at the cost of his own reputation, which he does eventually hear about, and now he's pretty mad. He's like, the only way we're salvaging my reputation is if we take over Tokyo. So he leads an invasion of Tokyo. Deadly invasion. Tokyo falls. However, at what cost? When he enters Tokyo, the tokens actually employ a strategy of scorching earth. Quickly, his troops are rendered without food, and as they stretch out their supply lines to get to the other side of Japan, to the nearest port city, and just try to get home, eventually they're completely cut off from their supply line and begin to get starved. Quickly, the prince is killed in battle, and that. And since he's technically a king, that's going to lead to the complete pullout of all troops from Japan. The island is Japan. The country is Tokyo. Remember that. The city is also Tokyo. But yeah, all of these troops that were having such a good time, that were actually getting something accomplished, as per law, they're going to be forced to pull back, and they're going to leave. Obviously, some pockets here and there are still going to be there. However, that front is gone. And now, in charge, next in line was the prince's brother, and now he's in charge. Quickly, he's going to seek a deal with the Japanese, and they're going to pull away from Shanghai. While this thing is going to get completely frozen, and eventually will go to the negotiations table. So with this, we just had a very, very bloody conflict. Basically, that prince, probably if he had waited, if he wasn't so worried about his reputation in Shanghai City, if he had sieged Tokyo instead of just went in with his entire army, he probably could have actually won that, took out Japan. And if they take out Japan's main headquarters, then the Token Empire is just gone. Because Japan is probably their strongest region. Second strongest, I think, is either Korea or Manchuria. But yeah, mainly that was pretty much on his part, actually. That's what I would say. Anyway, so let's undo all of this, and now let's actually get back to the main peace treaty, which was also happening. So all the border changes from that earlier war in the start of the episode, they're finally going to go through, because the government was preoccupied, boys. Meanwhile, the negotiations with the Democrats are also going. Democrats? No, that's gonna get this video taken down somehow. I don't think YouTube appreciates politics, but okay, I mean Democrats, not as in the American ones. I mean as in the Shanghai ones. Um, So yeah. Okay, moving on from that. So yeah, the Democratic Rebellion. It's probably they're in negotiations. They're going to demand a couple of things: more representation, less taxation, and also a say in who actually gets elected to the board, to the little Senate, which is like the Supreme Court basically. Who gets elected to that instead of just getting appointed by the monarch? However, again, just like his father, the prince who went to Japan is different than the prince here. It's the story of the two brothers from season 1 again. Basically, what he wants is just like his brother. He's a nationalist, so he doesn't actually want the monarch to collapse. However, he does follow with his father's footsteps and is like, you know what? Maybe it's better for the nation if the monarch does collapse, because this guy just wants the better for the nation. That guy wanted the better for the monarchy. So now that he's dead, I guess it's only one brother, and this one is going to step down as monarch, give full power to the democratic thing. And sadly, the democratic general did die in war, in a Japanese attack, in the Japanese Navy attack. However, it's okay because his son is going to take power, and we're going to call him Jim Bob III. So Jim Bob III is now the president of the first democratic country in East Asia. Still a king. They still call him a king because president isn't a word yet in this. However, it's good to see that they're doing well. Now over here to the uncolonized lands of Persia. We're going to focus on this Indo-Persian region again for a second. These guys are going to declare full-on war on this entire group, and quickly the invasion is going to begin. Also, let's clear these guys in. Now, these guys are actually going to be working with the Persian government this time, because an attack here is an attack on Persia. So, yeah. Not only are they going to declare war on those guys, they're not going to declare war on Persia, and they're not going to acknowledge that they're at war with Persia, but they're at war with Persia, and Persia's going to declare war on them. Quickly, the invasion is great. This was not expected. These guys, the Indo-Baloch, what is this region called? Persia, yeah. Persia, the Indo-Persian rebels, they're going to be they didn't actually expect this. Their entire strat was to hide in Persia so that these guys couldn't go to war, because they knew that Persia would instantly react. And it looks like these guys are so sick of the rebels that they honestly don't even care anymore. That's not a good sign. That's honestly never a good sign. Meanwhile, Persia, still Persia. You got to remember, still Persia. So they still are absolutely hated by the blue team. So these guys are gonna get, and these guys are friends with the blue team. So it's gonna be a lot of funding. I think for the most part, the funding is probably going to help. However, the part where the funding is gonna fall short is when guerrilla warfare begins, which is right around this part normally. So they lose so much land. They're so deep into Persian territory that now begins guerrilla warfare. Troops are led out away from the Indus and towards the Persian capital in hopes that they get stranded. However, the Indus has seen the war that the blue team waged and how incredibly badly they failed. Well, they didn't really fail because they had entire Persia destroyed, but the amount of casualties on their side was higher than the population of Persia. Like they had more casualties than the entire army of Persia. Like if, for example, there were like 5 million troops fighting in Persia, these kids had 6 million casualties. The blue team had more casualties than soldiers fighting for Persia. That's sad. Also, this little thing is quickly kicked out, which means now all of the original Indus lands are a part of the Indus again. Very unstable, but a part of the Indus. So yeah, these guys, they wanted to just keep a consolidated, strong front line. However, that cannot be done without completely, like, basically all these little points, they need to get connected up. So that's exactly what's gonna happen. And these guys are gonna push out just like this and form a like straight line kind of thing. And all of this is to basically what they want is they want to completely destroy this region so that the rebels, we actually need a name for them. Should I ask ChatGPT? I'm gonna ask ChatGPT. Good country name for country that's strong in Indo-Persian region. Let's see. Let's see what ChatGPT says. Aryadesh, Persind, Shahwand, Indo-Khuzar, Mehrastan, Samarasta, named after the name. Uh, let's pick a goofy name. Sam. Yeah, Sam. The recording kind of got cut off a little bit there, but it's okay. It's fine because um basically a bunch of rebellions happened, and then these guys decided, okay, you know what, screw it, we're just gonna give all the ethnic lands to the people who deserve them, and then the Mughals got involved. Basically, the Mughal people living over here that fled from here, half of them made their own country, the other half are gonna get annexed by these guys, and then these guys had people living over here. They're also gonna become a part of them, just like this, and these guys are gonna get their land back from from the control of the Abbasid, and also a bunch of land over here is going to get a bunch of people over here in this region are going to get deported back into Abbasid land that were Abbasid, so that the Abbasid doesn't claim all that. Um, overall, you guys didn't miss much. Oh, also there's a border redraw between Persia and these guys, just slightly. Non-canon because to make the border look better, but canon because to avoid the situation that happened down there, because these guys' entire country basically fell apart because of the ethnic tension. And over here, we need a color for these new guys. I think I'm gonna give them a new shade of blue. Yeah, okay, that looks good. Basically, Mughal. Anyway, we are gonna end this video here, but make sure to like and subscribe because you never know when the next video. Actually, you do know in like 6 days. But yeah, like and subscribe. We're gonna end this here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, subscribe. Goodbye. Bye. Bye.